around 18 years of experience, 11 years into SAP S4HANA Finance and Open Text VIM. Past 6 years, I'm working as a solution architect as a Open Text VIM part. Okay, so yeah, I have handled more than 6 implementations, which includes like ECC S4HANA Finance and VIM, and also 2 migration and 1 upgrade in finance side and 2 upgrades in Open Text VIM. Okay, this is all about me. I am here to give a brief introduction about Open Text VIM. Yeah, just we will have quick introduction, each and every one, so that we are all what is your background, what you are expecting from this training. Okay, so that we can start our introduction part. Yeah, please, anyone first go with and introduce.
So this is Sanjay. Actually, I'm a techno-functional guy. Okay. So the thing is, we are looking to upgrade the career only.
Techno-functional and SAP. What is the functional part you worked and you know uh,
MM. MM.
what are the areas you worked on the functional part? So
Functional the
expert
support. X support type like just resolving the L1, L2 tickets.
working on the user stories, right? I mean to say.
They just provide us a daily basis issue and just supporting them.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, you are the technical lab and functional side. What are
Yeah,
the
yeah.
modules you
Technical
are in
side, I
expert?
know how to debug the program and all this.
Okay. Okay. Functional, which module you are working?
MM. And with me,
M.
actually, Miklesh is there. Miklesh, are you able to hear me, Miklesh?
Yes, yes, I can hear you, Sanjay.
Yeah. Yes, yes. You just
Okay.
give your introduction of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Good.
So, hi, Satya. Hi,
Yes.
everyone. This is Mikhilesh. I'm currently working as SAP consultant, having like around
Mm-hmm.
7 years of experience in SAP S4HANA and SAP ECC. So, I worked on like implementation projects on like various industries, real estate industry, manufacturing industry, trading industry, and yeah. So that's all about my overall
Yeah.
experience in SAP.
Good. What you are expecting from this course? Like, you have any idea about the open text VIM or
Yeah,
have you worked on
so
this open text VIM?
in my previous project, when I worked on this implementation for a trading industry, so
Okay.
instead of a standard that is invoicing tool that is Miro, client have adopted this vendor invoice management tool for their invoice processing. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, from there onwards, I get to know about this particular module. So yeah, like in this coming future projects that I'm also working on, I can see like there is a huge demand on this vendor invoice management instead of this standard invoice processing via Miro. So I just found interest in this thing, and that's why I'm like willing to pursue this course.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Can you please someone go with maybe Rajsekhar? Yes, Raja, please go ahead.
Murad, you just speak loudly actually. You just unmute, but we are not able to hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Lakshmi, you can give your brief introduction, like, just for understanding purpose. Lakshmi, are you there?
He's on mute actually.
Yeah. If you're talking, can you please unmute and, can you please talk bit about yourself, please? Please unmute. I know that you're talking on mute. Unable to unmute. Okay. Subbu, can you please
So
unmute the users, please? Subbu, are you there? So, okay. Okay, then that's fine. Okay, then we will go with the introduction. See, the intention is here to like understand what is the background, so that we can what level of knowledge is required. Then we will go with it. If it is like you are not into SAP background, then we have different approach. You have already worked on the SAP, already worked on this different modules. We have different approach. That's the main agenda of small introduction between you and me. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Since they are facing some issue, technical issue, then we will go with our presentation part. Okay. So anyone have a fair idea about like what open text VIM? Okay, guys, then let me start with for myself. Like the VIM
We are
introduction
new
part is like invoice management TDL is an add-on to the SAP ERP with functionality running within SAP. VIM is a packaged solution, and everybody know that, and digital approach for the handling the manual invoices. A streamlined invoice management can be achieved, and we can now better manage in workflow invoices, like the workflow process, right? Hierarchy management and all. So we have the better, like compared to other applications like standard FB60 Miro postings. This is like we have the better management of the workflow. Okay, and ensure the timely correct payment to the vendors, having highly configurable design allowed to accommodate the various business scenarios. Okay, so what is the benefits? Why all the clients are going for implementing the VIM? Okay, what is the benefits mean? Main benefits they are looking for here, like removing the bottom line in the payment process, cutting cost and increasing the ROI significantly, and minimizing the invoice processing timely processing. Okay, reducing the cycle time. Cycle time mean like invoice receiving from multiple vendors, and it is coming to the inbound, then it will be registered in VIM, then it will be validated and indexed. That is one benefit we have, and improving the performance and enhancing the productivity. Okay, this is something like if it in case of the standard, okay, there could be a chances of missing the invoices, right? There is no proper control whether the invoice is received or not, and after a few days we will receive the overdue notification saying that we have not received the invoices and all. So that is something somebody has to work on this dispute management and exception handling. So more resources put into that investigation part. So whereas in here, like we have each and every invoice is received into SAP, that will be registered, okay, indexed, validated. Okay, so we cannot see any invoices in the aging bucket. Okay, so that is what, like that is the benefit of doing this, like productivity mainly, eliminating the AP end users and eliminating the exception handling team. Okay, and completely eliminating the manual processing. So how it is works, like, the manual processing. So you might ask that, okay, PO, it is manual processing, can be eliminated. Like if it is standard PO, we have GRIR PO. If everything is matches, automatically that invoice get posted. Yes, it happens in even standard SAP also. If all matches, then the document will be created. So if some discrepancy in case of the pricing, quantity, unit of measurement, any discrepancy, that invoice will go for exception. So where we will handle that exceptions, that is the question mark here. And in coming to the indirect POs, blanket POs, okay. So indirect PO, we have GRIR, right? Will not be there. Only we have PO IR. Okay. So POIR means somewhere, the PR level, we have the validations, that approval hierarchy, that invoice will be, the PR will be approved, based on the hierarchy, then the PO will be created. Once the PO created, then IR will be received. Here, we have one more control where that invoice is received, then that will trigger the workflow. We have 20 levels of workflow approvals will be maintained in the VIM, okay, as part of the tolerance limit, that approved hierarchy works. Okay, so this we will cover in this class. Okay, how the workflow hierarchy works. Okay, what is the significance for that. Okay, and the second part is like non-PO invoices. Okay, non-PO invoices, we have three types of invoices, right? Non-PO general invoices, and non-PO utility invoices. Non-PO, we have legal invoices. Okay, so legal invoices, we have an approach to process, okay, through upload also, because the legal invoices are if you say that the legal charges, right, it is remain the same. It is not the product service something. This is the service, right? Service related, we can maintain the upload process. So we have standard process in upload also. We will teach how it works. Okay, and coming to that, VIM, how it works. Okay, this is like the benefits of the VIM. And coming to the process, the invoice is received in multiple sources. Okay, and the invoices either received electronically, the invoices will be received by post, invoices received by email. Okay, in different sources. If I talking about electronically mean we have the Ariba. Okay, third party tool, we have the iDocs. So we will receive in the form of iDoc, that will be converted into PDF. Okay, the process will go on. So we have different channels in place in VIM. Okay, we will cover all the channels, how it will be created, the channels. So before creating the channels, what is the process? So how we can archive the document, that is the matter here. Like, we can archive the document. We have the archive servers in place, like OpenText their own OpenText archive server is there. And even third party, we have the FileNet, the multiple third party archive servers also available. Okay, 95% of the 90% of the clients are always prefer the OpenText archive server. Okay, so that the archiving, how to create the archiving link. Okay, so that also we will cover here. Okay, and coming to the capture metadata, right, OCR process, that is something we have two different processes in place. One is for capture metadata, OCR. Okay, so how it is, like the previous versions like ECC and 16.3 and all, they used to have the remote desktop where that validations used to happen. Now in S/4HANA and maybe 20.4 to 23.4, we have that the validation client in Fiori application. So we are very much aware of the Fiori, right? Fiori tool. So it is embedded with GUI. Okay, in the Fiori we can do the validation. So once the invoice is received, captured. Okay, so what the capture do that OCR will do, where in the standard SAP in traditionally what they will use, and they can key all the information on the page of invoice, manually key, right? Invoice number, invoice date, okay, the PO number, and if it is PO number, and the line item details, and the gross amount, net amount, freight amount, unplanned delivery cost, Okay, there so on, like, whatever the mandate information we need to manually key. That is the traditional SAP, standard SAP. Okay, whereas in Vim, the OCR will be activated. The OCR capture all the information using the machine learning and AI capabilities, like, right? Okay, system will identify that on the face of invoice what are the mandatory information is there. It will capture all the information on the face of invoice into the field mapping here. Okay, it will map in the field, and that information will be somebody from AP side, they will validate whether the OCR properly captured or not. Then they will submit. Once they submit, that invoice indexed. Okay, so that is the part of, like, the capture OCR, the validate the metadata. Validation means that is AP processor. Here it is like system. Here AP processor, once that capture is completed, then this will go for validation metadata. The validation from AP side we can do. So we have one beautiful thing also here. We can skip this level. Okay, that is like, giving benefit to the customers. We can skip this validation. I will teach about this, how we can skip this and directly indexing the invoices. When we can do, what are the analysis required for that before. This is the added advantage to the clients. So initially we are not give, maybe down the line after implementation. Okay, so the hypercare is completed, we are good in this system. Okay, everybody happy, and all the AP users are very happy with the application. They are used to it. Then we can go for this kind of reducing the manpower from AP side. We can suggest these ideas. We can talk about how we can skip this guy. Okay, we can talk about in our class. And going to the business rules and checks, as I already mentioned, like, anything is mismatch. Okay, anything is mismatch in case of the PO, mismatch between the vendor number on the PO and invoice, and any information like invoice number or uh, any other, like, any mismatch, then it will go for exception. And coming to the major exception, LIX exception, mainly into the pricing discrepancy, quantity discrepancy, and unit of measurement. These are the major, okay, exceptions. Okay, we have to configure the business rules based on the business requirement. So the major thing is here, like, so what business is saying. For example, I will tell you one exception: older than 6 months invoice. Say, for example, invoice the vendor is submitted, okay, after 6 months. So system we can create, like, that is the business requirement. That is not standard, that is a customization. So if the they have better control to understand that why who is the vendor submitting late. So in order to identify that, how we can know that this vendor is that, like, we can create one exception. It is greater than older than 6 months. Then we can create an exception, so that invoice will go for exception. It will not post, it will go for exception, so that they can do the analysis and they can prepare the dashboards and make sure that we have the vendor education sessions to all the users. Okay, that we can do exception handling. And you can tell you guys can tell any other exceptions which I missed. There are multiple exceptions, right, in your idea, like, other than this, you have any in your thoughts, any exceptions you can talk about? Hello guys, anyone please?
So I have one question here. Actually, Michilesh this side. So when you say like it is
questions questions we'll answer. Just we will answer last 15 minutes. Okay, please.
okay.
Because again other people will get disturbed here. Okay, the flow will go. Let us complete last 15 minutes. Park your question, will answer. So you can tell me what are the exceptions you are, like, in the business scenario, in your experience, you find. If anyone.
So are these exceptions are standard or customized as well?
Yeah, many standards are there, as I mentioned, like pricing discrepancy, quantity discrepancy, okay, and unit of measurement, okay, invalid vendor number, okay, invalid company code. These are all the standard, okay, invalid bank details, invalid bank key. These are all the standard, okay. We can do the custom, as I mentioned, right, older than 60 days. That is the custom. That is not the standard. because that is doesn't matter for open text to give like older than 60 days and all. You can put like older than that also we can go for exception. That is like, these are the custom from it will thoughts will come from the business users, right? Because they are the persons, they have much experience on the ender processing point of view. They will give their ideas, right? So we will convert that idea into materialized, and we can create the exception that way. You can tell like, other than that, you have any idea like, what are the exceptions, how we can create the exceptions and all?
Okay.
Anybody idea something? Okay, silence is like, accepted. Okay, that's fine. Like applying the business rules. See, this is like, multiple exceptions. We will create the configuration part. We can do that. Exception creation is like, we have the process options and process type. So this configuration will give the exceptions. Okay, it will display the exceptions. We'll talk about that, how it works in real-time scenarios. Okay, and coming to that, applying the business rules, right? So how this like, this is the rules check. The system will identify, it will throw an error. Okay, post correction, you apply the business rules. Like, you have done like, say, the vendor is not extended to they have multiple company codes. Vendor is created for X. Okay, the vendor is not created for Y. This invoice received for Y. Okay, Y company code. So how we can do, we can extend the company code to X to Y, right? So that is exception. Once you correct that, extend that in the BP master data, extend this company code. Once that is extended, then apply the business rules. So when you apply the business rules, in the background, the validation part happens. Okay, once the validated, that information will be applicable, then system will correct, then that exception will be erased from there. Okay, it is simple as that. How we can identify the exception mean, we have that green and red signal. If it is red, it is still in exception. And also we have the comments why it is under exception. Okay, in this case, that exception is like vendor is company code, this vendor is not extended to company code. When you done it, the validation part happens, then that invoice will be erased this exception, and that button will become green. So how we can see that, how that radio buttons will be applied and all, we can talk about, okay, in real time configuration. Okay, coming to exception handling, we have already, right, these two are comes under exception handling. So the final step, you cleared all the exceptions. Okay, then it will trigger the workflow. That is one thing. Once approval is completed, post invoice in SAP. Okay, still displays. Okay, this invoice is, this is the holding, parking the invoice. Okay, we are parking the invoice, we are not posting. Okay, once this all the activities completed, then once the FI document is created, okay, then that is materialized in the sense that will hit to the subledgers. Okay, sit in open item as an open item in FBL1. Okay, based on the due date, that invoice will go for payment. Okay, that is the payment process completely. So we will stop here, posting invoice. Okay, and also we'll give the basic information how the payment works also. Okay, so that you guys can have end-to-end scenarios. Okay, end-to-end scenarios, where it start, where it ends. This ends in post invoice. We will cover little more about, like, once it is posted, when that invoice will be selected for payment, how the payment will go, what are the payment types we have, like we have the check payment, we have the wire payment, ACH payment, like that. Okay, how we can determine whether it is the check payment, wire payment, or something like that, we can discuss about little more for beneficiary of all the users. These are the components we have. Okay, these are the components we have in place currently. Okay, so you might ask, like, Satya, what are the steps we'll follow for this process workflows? Okay, so we mentioned, right, scanning paper invoices, for example, importing the electronic images, capture the metadata, validate the metadata, verify for duplicates. Yeah, we missed one thing. So I'm expecting something from you that is for duplicate invoices. Okay, that is the major thing, right? Wherever you go, you find the duplicates. Okay, say for example, we have purchased one product. Okay, so what you will do, there is a buyer and buyer involves, right? The purchasing team. The buyer, like, the buyer deal directly with the vendor, right? Like, the vendor setup and all, like, identification of the need, identify the vendor. Okay, and they have the relation. Okay, the buyer has direct relation to vendor, right? So what he will do, vendor will submit the invoice. Okay, and also one copy sent to the buyer. So no knowledge, even buyer also submit the same invoice. So we have to stop, right? We cannot pay both the invoices. So where that, the duplicate come into the picture, and system will identify the duplicates based on the, the combination of, like, what is the combination setup we have done in the system, it will identify. So majorly they will go with invoice number, invoice date. That is one thing. And some, some logic will go for vendor number, invoice date. Okay. It depends on that. It will be identified. This is all about like business, right? When we do the business gathering, okay, working sessions, we will gather all this information. Okay, so that will go for that. Duplicate sector will be identified. Then apply the business rules, forwarding for payment. Okay, so any questions so far? So if any questions, just park. Okay, park your questions. We will. I will answer in last 15 minutes. Okay. So then, like, we have already discussed invoice PDF. BCC. We have, right, initial version of ICC, Invoice Capturing Center. Later, in S/4HANA, they come up with BCC, Business Capturing Center, and later IES. Okay. In this way, we have the processing centers and the document processing, DP type, process types, process options. These are the configuration part we can cover in this training. Okay, these components we can cover. Business rules and duplicate check. Okay, invoice approval and exception handling we will cover. This is the bigger topic. Okay, invoice approval process, exception handling. Okay, and FIRI and approval portals we can talk about how it works. And the user training. User training is always, major challenge in the open text VIM, right? So the users maybe, not familiar with SAP, not familiar with open text VIM. Maybe they're working with the third-party tools, and they have some challenges here because they have to navigate multiple screens in order to process the invoice. Coming to here, like, process flow. So it starts like this. Okay, we will receive the invoices in different sources. Okay, that's like, as I mentioned, iDocs, through iDocs, Ariba. Okay, electronically we'll receive. The second is emails. Third is like paper invoices, scan invoices. If this is the paper invoice, so paper invoices in the form of, you might receive by post. Okay, to your department. Somebody, scan that document. Okay. For scanning the document, we have the multiple scanners available in the market, but we will use the scanner which is provided by the OpenText, that is the enterprise scanner. Okay, we'll use that scanner and we will scan the invoices. Okay, for paper invoices. Once this part is completed, this is like, archiving and OCR. We talk about that archiving, right? We will talk about like how to archive server setup can be done, how we can do the archive link configuration. Okay, that is the first step, right? This is the first step we can cover, and how the OCR works, how the OCR validation works, what is the difference between the remote desktop and FIRI validation client, what are the major changes happened, in between these two. Okay, we'll talk about it. And archive physical invoices. Okay, so how we can archive the invoices for, for auditing purpose. We have the SOX audit. There are multiple audits, happens in future because, there are the stakeholders, many things this company should answer, right? If it is the public limited company, okay, and they are involved in the trading or, registered in the share market. In that scenario, okay, they have to answerable for each and everything. Okay, there should be transparent in each and every point. In the transparency, make sure that they have to answerable for that audit people. Okay, third party audit happens. So that is the reason each and everything should be captured. Whenever they want any invoice copy, they should provide that, right? In order to provide, in order to display, that, okay, at least 5 years data they have to archive. That invoice information, like scanned invoice details will be stored in the archive server. If the stored in archive server, then only you can able to see in the our window that invoice. Okay, if there is no archive server, you cannot see that invoice in Vim. Remember that. So this is the one major thing, archiving and OCR. And coming to register in SAP Vim, so once this validation is completed, it is registered in Vim, and then exception handling process come into the picture. We have the PO invoices, FI invoices. FI invoices nothing but we discussed, right? Normal FI invoices and utility invoices and legal invoices. 3 parts. We'll talk about it, how it works. And also we can talk about like how the automation of the non-PO invoices, right? So auto coding, how the auto coding functionality can be activated. Okay, so this is one benefit we can give to the business. Okay, initially we are not going to tell them. Okay, down the line, so everything is like streamlined. Okay, we are not getting anything. They are looking for some enhancements. We can talk about like the automation of the non-PO invoices that time. Okay, we have some configuration steps in order to automation, like so you might ask like how the automation can happen, because non-PO invoices we do not have any coding details and all, right? So based on the vendor history, we can put one custom table and capture all the information related to that vendor. If it is the product supplier, then product information will be there. If we service provider, then we will maintain in the table service provider details and the cost object information, like cost object information, like cost center, profit center, internal order, WBS element. Everything will be part of this cost object. Everything will be maintained in this. As soon as the product comes in, automatically that capture that information, auto populate the coding details, and it will be posted. And it will be posted in the sense it will trigger the workflow for approval. Okay, based on the tolerance limit what we set up. You might ask, Satya is talking about tolerance limit. See, there is a hierarchy, right? Have received one $100 invoice and 1 million invoice. Okay, so $100 maybe your functional manager or manager can approve. Okay, it is $100,000, then that should be approved by board of directors. There are multiple steps involved here. Okay, your manager can approve $100. Okay, $100,000 and only approved by board of directors. Okay, so in between there are multiple hierarchies will be there: manager, assistant general manager, VP, senior VP, then director, senior director, and CFO, CEO, COO. Okay, then board of directors. I almost like covered like 12 levels of approval hierarchy. Okay, we will maintain this 12 levels of approval hierarchy. How it will trigger, what is the base, everything will cover here. How we can do the configuration, how we can maintain the workflow hierarchy, how the data is identified. So these are all the employees, right? Employee can exit, employee can onboard anytime. How the data is updated in automatically in the system. So if something employee management mean, we can talk about like HCM, human capital management, and Workday. We have multiple third party tools where that employee data is maintained. How the data is replicated from third party to SAP S4HANA system. Okay, so how the BP master data is updated with employee details. Okay, all this we will talk about from BP. Okay, employee, that how the data is replicating in S4HANA Vim, and how the data is updating in the Vim workflow approval hierarchy process. How we can do this automation part. That is major thing in the especially for Vim. So we'll talk about that, the automation part also here. So how the hierarchy will happen, how the data is replicated from HR master to Okay, see our Vim, okay, master data. So we'll talk about it. Okay, and PO approvals are the last thing is like dashboards, right? So we have multiple, the reporting parts. This is the major thing, right? So we are answerable to senior management, middle level management, high level management. How we can, report this? So the dashboards, it is nothing but the reports. Productivity report we have, and we have the Vim analytics report. We have multiple reports, liability report. Okay, there are multiple reports. We talk about that reports, how we can generate the reports, what is the importance of the report. If the customer is looking for custom reporting, how we can do the custom reporting, how we can do the enhancement. If they are looking for the additional fields to add into a report, how we can do that, how we can call the body, functional modules, we have classes. So it is pretty technical, right? Techno functional kind of module Vim. Okay, many things, the logic will be maintained in the functional modules and classes. Okay, the logic will be maintained in the functional modules and classes. If they are looking for the other than the standard, okay, then we can copy the existing functional module and we can write our own logic based on the client requirement. So that is the only thing will be there, but 95% of the standard always, because we never suggest any customization in Vim. The customization mean, if you do any customization, open text will not support for customization. Okay, they are only responsible for support only standard. Remember that. Okay, coming to this, like archive link configuration. This is where the first step to do the configuration part. Then early archiving. Okay, archive link process configuration. So these are the steps involved, like creating the content repository, create the presetting folder, link archive document type to Vim objects. Okay, link archive document type to SAP objects. Okay, then this is what, like the overall configuration, how it works for DP document processing. The configuration. See, if you do any settings, right, we have certain steps we need to follow to, okay, get the output. Okay, anything, if you want the output, and techno functional will come into the picture. Okay, we are looking for an output, either through configuration we can achieve that output. Sometimes might require some technical help. Okay, with the help of technical we can achieve the output. Okay, this is where the configuration come into the picture. We can create the indexing item configuration, indexing header configuration, index screen option configuration. This is all, like in order to create the document type, these are the type configurations we need to complete, right? Document processing, determination of the sequence of the process type, characteristics. Okay, characteristics option is provided in the process type configuration, which makes it possible to have scenario business cases where we need to process type for the particular country. Okay, and coming to this characteristics, process type come into the picture, and the roles. So roles mean, like the AP processor role, AP supervisor role, buyer role, duplicate check role. Okay, these are the roles, right? So these roles can be created globally. These roles can be created region wise, like APAC region, EMEA region, North America, Canada region, we can create. Otherwise, business is looking for this configuration globally, then we can create globally. It depends on the business requirement again. Okay, and then these buttons are defined under process configuration, maintain the process options. Okay, so the process configuration we will maintain as a, okay, process options. So we will talk about this. And coming to that, determination of the sequence of the process types. Okay, it based on the field name, a check type, a table, FM. So we have multiple options to achieve this. So based on the business requirement, we can achieve this. Will be defined for each process type. Okay, this is all about Vim. Okay, we have yeah, we have 15 minutes, right? 25 minutes we have. So okay, yeah. Any questions now? Yeah, Miklesh, can you ask questions?
Yes, yes. Yes, Satya.
Yes.
So a small question is regarding to that approval workflow. I guess it has already been answered. Like after exceptional handling, if certain things are going in, I mean, the PO invoices are going in, suppose block state or something, then only like approval step will get triggered, and based on that decision, it will get approved and posted into the system. And the other thing which I
Yes.
was having is like. I saw that thing, the three-way match, right, for PO invoices. So when it
Mhm.
comes to three-way match, so like PO, GR, and IR, all these things will get identified by the system. So in that case, I don't think so that we would need a workflow setup for the PO-based invoices, right?
No, no, no. So PO based mean like, not only standard, right? We have indirect POs, right? We have blanket
Okay.
POs. Okay. Indirect POs and blanket POs, we do not have any GRN, right? Goods receipt.
GRN, correct, correct.
Yeah. So in that case, we required that workflow hierarchy. Yes. Standard POs, yes. Not required any workflow. See, workflow hierarchy, when I am talking about the workflow hierarchy, that is mainly into non-PO invoices. Remember that. First thing.
Correct.
Okay. Always think about like uh, non-PO invoices workflow. Okay, some companies they will go for indirect POs workflow hierarchy. Okay, some people will go for the blanket POs workflow hierarchy. Okay, and as you mentioned, like the standard POs, yes. Okay, they are not go for any workflow trigger for the standard POs, and we have three-way match and four-way match also, right? Even four-way match also, it will not go for workflow hierarchy. Like four-way match, you might ask that what is the four-way match? Like we have
Yeah, I'm
GRN,
not.
we have AR, we have PO, ASN, advanced shipment note. Okay,
Ah, okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, it is like this is mainly into the pharma, right? Pharma industry, right?
Mhm.
Manufacturing. Okay, they will use the ASN also because they will track the medicines what they are uh, guys, give me a second, please. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, so it is like in that way, the manufacturing companies, we have the tracking system in place, right? If you submit any transport the product, manufacturing product especially, they have they have to submit some approval process also. We are transporting this medicine from this place to other place using this route map. Okay, so they will check that weather condition, everything. Okay, so but the tracking for that they will use this advanced shipment note. In that they have some configuration, that is the separate concept in place, right? We will talk about it later, but yeah. So the tracking, especially the medicine transportation from one place to other place and all, they will use this thing. Okay, there is an SAP separate module for that. Okay, tracking, this tracking system. Okay, transport tracking system, they will use that. Okay. Yeah. Any other
Okay.
question? Yeah. And also I mentioned, right, the workflow hierarchy will cover everything, how it works. Okay. What is the hierarchy? How we can set up in the system for hierarchy? So how the invoices will trigger? How we can maintain the tolerance limit? How we maintain the users? How we can handle the employee onboarding, employee exit? Everything will cover. So something is like everything is should be automation, right?
Okay. Okay. So delegations and all that will also be covered, right, as a part of this workflows.
Can you please repeat?
So I
I
was saying
missed it.
like delegations and all that will also be covered. Like if some
Of
other
course,
employees
of
not.
course, of course. Good. Yeah, good, Marcus. Yeah. See, we have that, substitute handling, reassigning process. Okay. We
Mhm.
can maintain the substitute. Say, for example, the invoice is waiting for X. Okay. X is like, is busy with work or is on vacation. Okay. And, he want like, he's on vacation, or some people take the ladies, right? They will take, leaves for 6 months or 7 months, some, their personal things. And that time the delegation process come into the picture. That is called substitute, right? If you do
Right.
the substitute to Y, so that invoice will sit in X and Y. Okay, any one of them can be approved. Okay, since X is on vacation, Y can approve. If Y is in exception, in vacation, X can approve. Okay, in that way the delegation work into the picture. And coming to that reassignment, say for example, some emergency, in my bucket there are 100 invoices are sitting. Okay, some emergency, okay, I have taken leave for 1 week or 2 weeks. Okay, so we cannot stop, right? Because that we have to pay the vendors on time, otherwise we end up with paying the penalties, right? So what we will do, we will reassign. There are two concepts here. We will learn to do the configuration. One is for substitute, the other one is for unassign and reassign. Okay, we will unassign to X, reassign to Y, because X on vacation. Any other questions?
That is fine.
Understand,
And
right?
just yes, I understand. And just a
Yeah, that
last
is for
question from my side. Yeah. So as a part of this course, like what all things that we will get, like from the documentation's perspective, what all things that you will be providing to us?
So we will provide that, the documentation, what we have, and also a course we can cover here. We
So
have the
more
documentation, the
specifically,
configuration guide, administration guide,
yeah.
and installation guide. Apart from that, we will provide this, I have some documentation I have with me. I will share with this documentation with you guys. Okay. So what are the topics we will cover? Okay. These are the topics will be covered. Okay. So overview and open text. Anyway, we have already covered important mandatory configuration. So it will start with, this is the mandatory configuration, wherever FI, right? We have the organizational structure. It is a mandatory for all modules, right? Similar way, in the open text Vim, this is the mandatory configuration, like archive document config, Vim roles, Vim process type configuration, Vim process options and button configuration, Vim BDC ID configuration. Okay, this is mandatory. And Vim PO based invoice processing. Okay, these are the steps involved. Okay. So then we will go with this DP doc type creation, process type and DP doc type configuration, assigning logic to each process type, invoice exception processing, document processing, DP dashboards, roles in document processing, okay, segregation of DP doc type, okay, PO and non-PO, and country specific settings for PO document type, okay, and Vim PO-based invoice processing continued, okay. Logical logic module processing and background execution of the process types. Okay, so like the Miro, right? Miro MIR4, okay, displaying the document, document, posting the document, Miro. Okay, payment version approval configuration. We discussed about that three-way match. And PO line item determination, how the system will determine the line item on the PO, on the piece of PO, like on the piece of the PO, how that line items will be determined, updated in the Vim, right? Because automation process, like we have to determine, right? So that we can talk about here, like, rollout criteria for the blocking process. What is the rollout criteria for the block process? Like, we talk about like block process, right? With multiple exception types. Okay, PO invoice blocking process. PO invoice blocking process, mainly we have pricing, quantity, unit of measurement. So we have different product code used in Vim, right? For this, okay, one is for product code that refers to document processing based on activities. We have that another product, that is PIR. Okay, it is a product code that refer to non-PO parking workflow. Okay, LIX. Okay, when I talk about that PO based, we have LIX. It is a product code related to the logistics invoice verification process. Okay, so the LIX is the major role plays in case of the Vim PO based invoice processing. Okay, so that product code is, these are the standard product codes, right? What I'm talking about is the PO non-PO invoices. Product code is the, okay, logistics invoice verification process. Okay, And coming to that Vim non-PO invoice processing, as I mentioned, right, product code PIR. Okay, we'll do that configuration, how we can do the configuration, we'll cover that. And non-PO process flow and process type creation, DP document type creation, Vim segregation of the DP document type config, invoice exception processing. Coming to that invoice approval process, as we discussed already, covered, we will cover the configuration part, like overview, AFS ID creation, maintaining COA table, configuring the process types, okay, IAP process basis, coding validation, invoice approval, SAP GUI interface, okay, and also we'll talk about like how the interface works, how the embedded the data between the GUI and Fiori applications, okay, talk about that. Invoice approval, web and mobile theoretical overview, and we talk about, right, web and mobile application is nothing but the Fiori application where we can able to access in the mobile, right, and the Fiori application. In SAP we cannot do it, but yeah, that is the benefit, like the Fiori. So the sales people are not in front of the system, right? They will travel, okay, across the world for they always need to approve their invoices. In that case, they can use the Fiori application. See, most of the companies, they never give their users to use the GUI, right? They will, if they have already implemented the Fiori web application, then always they will give the access to only Fiori, okay? Only super users are, the management side like SAP, and those people will get the GUI application access, okay? And coming to invoice approval process, we cover this. And coming to that reporting and background job, Vim Analytics report, SAP workflow basic, and 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys, somewhere. Yeah, and also we'll cover here reports and background job. Vim Analytics report we covered, right? SAP workflow basic, okay. Basis and administrative work. We'll cover a little bit about the basis, what is the basis activity, and okay, what is the administrative work, how we can handle, overview of the Vim workflows, and also debugging in production and quality, and background job. Just a basic, okay. This is the basic we covered. And IDH channel config, and yeah, we have that IES, right? We will cover IES and BCC, both we will cover. And also we will cover the IDOC channel, how it works. You guys know what is IES, what is BCC, what is ICC? Hello?
No, Satya, I don't have that idea. At least.
Business channel, OAWD,
Yeah. Right? See, I will tell you, like, BCC mean Business Capture Center. That is like, advanced version of ICC, Invoice Capturing Center. Okay. ECC, they used to have that ICC, right? Invoice Capturing Center. When they, the client's moving from ECC to S/4HANA, it's mandatory to have this BCC, Business Capture Center. Okay. Then now it is IES. Okay. The channel, right? IES mean like Information Extraction Service. This is the advanced version. It is like, it is introduced in 20.4 onwards. Okay. Only IES is, supported the Vim validation client in Fiori. Okay. And coming to how the invoice is captured, that AI, right? AI, artificial intelligence, we can have this major role here. It will capture all the mandatory information on the page of invoice, and machine learning. So this can be activated only for IES channel. Okay. So that we will cover, BCC will cover, and ICC will cover, as well as IES also will cover here. Okay. That is S/4HANA current version. Okay, invoice capture center, we will talk about like, how the BCC, IAS and ICC will work. Okay, and how we can, how this communication happened, right, between the BCC and SAP. We will create the batch job for that, background job. So it will communicate this between these two. Okay, IES and SAP. So that background job communicate between these two systems. And coming to the channel configuration in business center, and yeah, we talk about this, right? We'll do that. And the last point is interview preparation. So this is the content, course content. So we can cover this in 30 days, 29 classes. We can cover this everything. So you guys, like, when we can discuss any topic,
For the class times, can I know the class timings?
Lakshmi, you're saying something, but we cannot hear you.
Yeah.
But your voice is very low. I'm not sure others can.
Yeah, let me text.
Hello, Sanjay. You can hear me, hear him or Lakshmi? His voice is
Yeah,
clear.
yeah, we are able to hear you actually.
Lakshmi, what about Lakshmi?
Your voice is very low.
Yeah. Lakshmi, can you please,
class timings? Class timings.
Sorry, Lakshmi, I didn't get you.
Actually, he want to ask the session timing actually.
Oh, okay. Session timing, Subbu will share with you.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Subbu will discuss, okay, all this point. And the system access, everything will be, discussed with Subbu.
Yeah.
Fine.
So the just last question. Once we'll complete this course, so do we have any configuration document or something which we can refer to for our future practices?
Yes, we have, right? See, one simplified document I will give. This is the simplified document what we prepared. Okay, this is simplified document. Everything will be there here. The configuration part what we are going to teach. Okay.
Yeah, the necessary configs at least, like the document type and all entire these things.
Correct. Here everything is there. It is not simple one. Okay, we have given that, how to with configuration part. Here it will start. Okay, how we can create, what is the T code, what are the steps which we given. We have given here. We will add more into here. Okay, and
Okay.
coming to that, the document, it is very confusing because they have their own strategy, right? They won't give straightforward process. So if you see this 900 pages document, we have simplified to make it 428, but still 428 you cannot, maybe you can refer this. So we talk about like, country wise configuration. See this, wait for GR simple check, wait for, GR enhanced check. Okay, see this is the country specific, right? See this, these are the
Correct.
exceptions. So this document will be larger point, it will help you. Okay, missing, these are the exceptions we talk about, right? So quantity, pricing mismatch. Okay, missing gross amount, missing company code. These are the exceptions. This is the the configuration document will give whenever you have doubt, right? Okay, you can refer this.
Yes.
This is the standard 20.4 implementation configuration guide it is. Okay, this will give, we'll share this documentation with you guys. This is like, you guys implement 20.4, we will share this. We have 16.3 version I have, and I have 23.4 version also I have, because currently we are implementing that. Okay, so I also will share with you guys for the implementation guide, right? So if you want to sample implementation guide, like blueprint, business blueprint, requirement gathering.
Yes, exactly.
So business blueprint also I will give it to you guys. For blueprint, you can use this format as a blueprint document. Okay, just you can add only basic information what you are doing. So everything is covered here, the blueprint. Okay, scope. Say for example, if you take this, so we have the terminology and all. What is the company? Say for example, here the company. So we'll give the only company and name of the company and team and everything will be covered here. See if you scope of the document, what is the scope? Okay, who is the client name? We'll give your company name, client name, and see that what is the version you are using. Okay, we are using that, this is like ECC version. This is S/4HANA version 2017 16.3 introduced. Okay, in December 2023 20.4 is there, and content server and all. You can just update, right, when you have that. The items of out of scope. These are the items out of scope. Okay, and give the company name, introduction, like what is the activities, like project activities, business objects, what we are going to cover. So you can give your company name, client name. Okay, you are implementing ECC or S/4HANA. Okay, if it is ECC, and we have service packs also. Okay, and SP6 is the service packs. SP2, it will start 20.4 starts with SP2. Okay, so you have to coordinate always with the basis team. Basis team will involve majorly into this. Okay, because they will, the basic information, everything will be configured by basis team. Then the certification, activation, installation part. Okay, the RFCs. Okay, everything will be, they will complete all the tasks. Okay, the basis team, they will give it to us. Then we will start with our configuration part. Okay, and coming to the risk, what are the risks we have? Okay, for this we have to document that risk also. Prerequisites, installation and configuration note. What is the prerequisites required for that? Okay, what are that, like DB data reader, writer? These are the mandatory fields, right? Prerequisites for that. And we can cover about this RFCs, how with that the data is interacted between these two systems. Okay, and also for incoming invoices, what is the dedicated in email ID, outgoing email, what is the dedicated? We will set up the inbound process as well as outbound process. What are some dedicated? These are the requirement. We gather the information. Business will give, right, all this information. We are not going to do that. So this will give, this document also I will share with you guys, so that you guys can refer this. So it will give fair idea about that, what needs to be asked and whom to work. So what is the roles? Okay, basis, what is the role of basis, what is the role of you? Okay, in that everything will be covered here. Can you this will like prepare name and terminology and all. Exception handling we talk about, approval process we talk about, what is the as is to be process. Okay, as is process, and what is the to be process. Everything, this is the to be process. Before is as is. As is mean they are using the third party tool, like any tool they are using for invoice processing. That is, you can cover is high level, what is as is process for that client. And what is the to be process? To be process means it will our Vim come into the picture. We have the channel we talk about, right? Enterprise scanner, email, XML channel, and electronic channel. Everything will be covered here. We can add that channels here. And email channel we can cover here. So XML channel, okay, invoice data capture. So what are the fields, like capture fields we talk about, right? Capture, OCR capture we talk about on the base of the invoice. So VAT invoice, language support, what are the languages it supports, currency support, what are the currencies it will support. Okay, common for India and US. Okay, but major thing is like currencies also, like we have the company code currency, we have the group currency, we have local currency. You guys aware of that, right? Okay, what is the local currency, what is the company code currency, what is the group currency, what is the company code currency. Okay, so because mainly that is the taxation, right? Taxation is the major part where we can handle the taxation part. So it is mandatory, vendor master data PO, and as IES validation part. We talk about the IES validation, right? So IES validation and submission. This is where this is the remote desktop. The S/4HANA, we have the Fiori application. It is now eliminated this validation client. Everything is in SAP now. Okay, if you want, in order to interact this one, this is the remote desktop provided by OpenText. Okay, now this is eliminated in Esperana. Now in Fiori tile, there is a one tile called validation client. So same thing can be handled in the validation client. Okay, that field, everything is remain the same. But you can view that in the validation client. No need to go for remote desktop. One more session cannot be opened. So this is completely decommissioned in Esperana. These are the like PO, non-PO invoice, OCR mapping, okay, field mapping. Okay, so we can cover about that Vim work, Vim process flows, like how the process flow will go. Okay, is the PO invoices. We have what is the raw material, admin, marketing, promotional, packing, material, etc. Import invoice material and service. Okay, so and also it will give high level to be processed for the pure processing, and your client you can give that with GRN, or you give your client name, process remain the same. Okay, coming to here, that steps, right? Steps in description, mail, channel, scanner, OCR we talked about, right? So the blueprint, everything we will cover, because they need to understand what is this mail channel. They don't understand, right? We have to give the detailed information so that client can understand. Okay, we talk about this, right? Vim, we talk about this GRSES data patching and all. Okay, the buyer we talk about roles, right? We talk about roles. Okay, PR creator, GR creator, buyer. Okay, people, the business rules. Anyway, we talk about the business rules, logic, action. What is the logic? What business is looking for? You can write a logic. Ask whoever to implement that logic. Okay, and assign that functional module to that particular exception. Okay, this is what is the logic? What is the action to be taken? Okay, so these are the logics we covered. These are the standard, right? Tolerance exceeded. Okay, based on the standard SAP tolerance check, it will be. So this is the major thing. You can understand that where the system is reading, how the data is fetching from. Okay, how we are deriving the data from the fields. Whether it is the validation is happening in standard SAP, or it is validation happening only within the Vim. That is also major thing. That is the reason we given the, for example, tolerance exceeded. Nothing is there in Vim. Okay, based on the standard SAP's tolerance OMR 6, we will maintain the tolerance limits for small differences, tolerances, pricing tolerances, quantity tolerances. Small differences mean like round up, right? Even 0.01 cents also system will throw an exception. Right, we can advise business, they don't know, right? We have this configuration in place. Small differences, like we can put the small differences like $1 up to $1. Any round ups are there, it will not go for exception. That exception queue will be reduced. How can on PO invoices? This is the flow. You can put your client name there. Okay, you can cover this. Okay, so this is all like this will go on like this is the blueprint. OpenText Vim implementation blueprint sample. Okay, we'll share this sample to you. The only very simplified, just to give your name, your client name, that's all.